Good morning, Jenny. How are you doing today?
Good.
Did you get a chance to complete that mood check worksheet?
Yeah, I did.
Great. So before we go over it, will you tell me a bit about how your week has been? Have there been any new changes or has anything happened?
Well, my new job started. So far it's going really well. We're coming up on the end of like my semester at school, so that's been pretty busy.
Mhm.
But like it's like the light at the end of the tunnel, so
Okay.
uh, that's it's been hopeful that there's an end in sight.
That's great to hear about your new job and that you're feeling some relief about school. How'd you feel at the new job?
Well, like the first day, I was a little nervous. Like worried that it wouldn't go well or that I wouldn't do a good job.
Mhm.
But like I met my managers, and then like after a couple days, I felt like I pretty much like had it
Okay.
under control. I had a handle. Um and like people have said that I'm doing a job, so I feel pretty good about that.
That's
Um
great.
Classes are pretty like difficult and overwhelming. But
Mm.
like I said, I know they'll end soon, so that helps.
That's great. I'm really glad to hear all of that. And it really sounds like you've been doing a good job of keeping on top of your thoughts and staying insightful about your emotions.
Yeah, I've been trying.
Great. So let's review last week's homework since we're talking about thoughts. Were you able to complete the thought record 2 times last week like our goal was?
Yeah, I actually did it like 3 or 4 times.
Great. That's so great to hear. What did you think of it?
I liked it. I thought, like, I found myself kind of thinking about it other times, like when I noticed my automatic thoughts were negative. So I
Mhm.
kind of go through like the chart in my head, um,
Okay.
and like just the reminder of that was even like more helpful than like writing it all out, doing it on paper.
So that sounds like a really great way that you've incorporated the automatic thought record into your daily routine. So, in reality, the best homework is the homework that works for you. So, I'm really thrilled to hear that you've been able to take the thought record into account in your daily life, even if it's just thinking about it instead of writing it down.
Yeah, it's kind of changed my perspective.
That's great. So far today, we have completed a mood check. We've talked a bit about an update about your week, and we reviewed our homework from the last session. So, for the rest of today's session, we're going to cover some forms of behavior therapy. So, last week or this week, we're going to discuss a bit about mindfulness and how that can work in your body to combat different negative sensations. Are you familiar at all with mindfulness or meditation or any kind of relaxation practices?
Not really. Like my sister meditates, but she's just like sitting still and thinking about nothing, I think. And that sounds pretty hard, honestly.
Okay, so sort of, but we're not really exactly thinking of nothing. In mindful meditation, our goal is to draw awareness to the connection between the mind and the body to help us feel more calm and more emotionally regulated. And this works for a variety of reasons. So, animals in the wild would become stressed when their lives are somehow in danger. For example, if they're being chased by a predator. But as humans, our common stressors aren't typically from our lives being in danger. They usually come from psychological stress. So, being concerned about school or work or things like that. So, when we're in states of heightened stress, our fight or flight instincts are engaged, and the body's physical response is to act as though we're in danger. So, our heart beats faster, our breathing becomes more shallow, we become shaky. Our body stops doing regular things that it would to function, like digesting food and producing proper hormones. So exercises like mindfulness and deep breathing can tell your body that there is no immediate danger around you, since your breath has so much to do with the regulation of your heartbeat and is something that we can control. Taking slow deep breaths helps lower your heart rate and therefore will help reduce the remainder of the physical symptoms as well. I know that that was like a lot of information, but does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Like you're basically just stressing yourself into feeling things like as if you were in physical danger, but you're not. So you can like use your breathing to basically like alert your body that you're not in danger.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect summary. So, emotions are temporary states, and there is a lot of ebb and flow within emotions. So, it's important that we can regulate our emotions so that they don't interfere with our day to day lives.
That makes sense. I guess I feel like if I could do that, then I might be able to handle more every day.
Right. Because as we control our emotions and our responses, we can handle our responses better as well.
Cool, that makes sense. I'd like to work on that.
Okay, great. So we'll make sure to add emotional regulation to our list of goals. When we experience emotions, our brain tends to send other activity along with it, such as thinking patterns, wishes, desires, urges, and like various other feelings. However, the change is achievable because of the amount of different working parts that exist within the emotion system. So, being able to reframe one part of the system can end up reframing the entire system. So, our goal is to be able to label our emotions when they come, and understand our responses to them, and then be able to engage in effective coping techniques so that the emotions don't become strains in our lives. Does that sound okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I feel overwhelmed by my emotions all the time. So being able to have some like control over them, that'd be nice.
Great. So this is a really good opportunity for us to practice. Can you tell me about a time that you felt really overwhelmed in this past week?
Yeah, I was driving the other day and I just suddenly like felt so stressed by like all the cars around me and the traffic. I kept feeling like I was gonna get in a car accident. And I just want to get home and like get out of the car.
That's a great example. So, what emotions were you experiencing while driving?
Mm, like a bunch of things. I don't know. I guess like I was pretty worried and I was like frustrated and like exhausted from being so worried.
Okay. So, good job giving names to your emotions. How intense would you say these emotions were on a scale of 1 to 10?
Um, like a 6 probably.
Okay, great. Can you remember any of the thoughts that you had while these emotions were going at that intensity?
Mm, not exactly. Maybe like, why is everyone driving so stupidly? Why am I the only one paying attention? I want to get home. I don't want to be in the car anymore. Stuff like that.
Okay, great job remembering back on that. In that moment, would you say that you were experiencing stress?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So when we experience stress, we usually feel it in different areas of our body, and becoming aware of these bodily triggers can help us understand and identify the emotions as they arise.
Yeah, makes sense.
So now we're going to talk about how to use the mindfulness that we discussed to notice where within your body you're experiencing an emotion. This is known as body scanning. So, as you can see, I have a printed worksheet here of body scanning for us to go over. When we are being mindful, we're being conscious of and observing our sensations, our thoughts, and our emotions in the way that they are in that moment. So, we're not trying to change or control these emotions, but we're just trying to observe them as they are in the moment. So, we're going to start scanning the body, starting at your feet and then up to your head, and then back down again, ending at your feet. So to practice, I'm going to name each part of the body aloud, and you're just going to try to be aware of any feelings or discomfort you have there. So, are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. So we'll begin starting with the feet, now the calves, moving up to the knees, now the thighs, the stomach, hands, elbows, into your chest and your shoulders, and then finally up onto your neck and your head. And then starting at the top of your head, move down to your neck, shoulders, elbows, hands, stomach, thighs, knees, calves, ankles, and feet. How did that feel?
A little weird. It's kind of weird how I've like never done that before. I've never taken time to check in on my body like that. Made me feel present, I guess, but like also a little uncomfortable.
Okay, where in your body did you feel that discomfort?
Like my chest. Like I wanted to interrupt you and like stop.
Okay. So it's really good that you could place where that discomfort was, and working on acknowledging where in your body you feel these things is like the purpose of body scanning. So, moving forward for your homework this week, I'm going to ask that you combine the two skills that we discussed today. So, mindful body scanning and self labeling of emotions. When you begin to feel something strongly, I want you to use the question that we used today to determine what was happening, how intense the emotion felt on a 1 to 10 scale, and what thoughts you had during the emotion. Those questions lead you to, or lead you to be able to then label the emotion. After you ask yourself those questions, I'd like you to do a body scan like the one that we practiced, and be aware of any discomfort in your body. You can do those at any time throughout the week that you're feeling overwhelmed, but can you try to aim for at least 3 times? Does that sound doable?
Yeah, it does. I feel like I'm looking forward to trying this one. It seems like it'll help if I can get it kind of figured out.
Okay, that's so great to hear. So to review today's session, we did a mood check. We obtained an update about your week. We reviewed last week's homework. We discussed mindfulness, labeling emotions, emotional regulation, and mindful body scanning. We practiced labeling emotions and body scanning skills, and then we assigned your homework for the coming week, which involves a combination of those two skills. Before we wrap up, is there any feedback that you have for our session?
Mm, I don't think so.
Okay, great. Well, I will see you next week. Have a great week.
Thanks. Bye.